My dear brother, Mr. Folabi Mukede, has published his memoir titled Never an Afterthought. This isn't just a book, it is a gift from Mr. Folabi. Mr. Folabi, unlike most public servants in Africa, decided to share his experience to guide and nurture the coming generation. One of the reasons why young leaders in Africa, either in the public or private sector, make avoidable mistakes is because there are no documented experiences or memoirs to learn from. We have outsourced mentorship to the Americans, Europeans, and Asians. It is very common to find books on governance, business, entrepreneurship, and public service written by American authors. Not everyone in Africa is bad. We have had outstanding public servants who excelled in their different fields, but some of them chose to go to the grave with their experience and recipe. Mr. Folabi decided to tell his story. If I am right, he's barely 5 years on the job, 5 years of rich experience in combating unemployment, poverty, skill acquisition, job creation, and capacity building in the biggest black nation on earth. His story is unique. You won't get it elsewhere. As I read the book, Never an Afterthought, I kept on wondering if I would love to be in his shoes. Carrying such a huge burden in Nigeria is tantamount to carrying the burden of sub-Saharan Africa. Was he prepared for it? Yes. His career path from his days as a medical student in UNILAG before he made the switch to accounting in the United States. He also took us on the political ride before and after his appointment, the structures he met on ground in his new office, the quick wins and the long-term plans. The political will needed to ensure that Empower became a reality despite the adverse economic situation was also documented. Mr. Afolabi has broken down into bits the biggest and arguably the most successful social intervention program in sub-Saharan Africa, known as Empower. From the project design, personnel and tech requirements, field assessments, and implementation. 350,000 applicants bathed Empower. 350,000 Nigerians. Who takes on such a huge project? How? You have the right to disagree with me, but when the history book is opened years to come, his name will be there. His name is written permanently in the minds of many Nigerians who are beneficiaries of the scheme. I hope that the social investment program will continue to thrive. I believe that Nigerians in a short while will acquire the needed skills to drive our economy and the progress of Africa. This is the only way to move from being a dumping ground and a consumer society to a much more productive nation. I'm an advocate of skill acquisition. I believe it's the biggest giveaway we can bequeath to millions of Nigerians. Like I always say, governance is not magic. Public service requires adequate knowledge and preparation. Success is also a combination of knowledge, preparation, and opportunities. As Nigerians, we have to build Nigeria. Nobody will turn this country around for us. Thank you, Mr. Folabi, for sharing your experience and knowledge. Thank you for sending me a copy for review. I have learned a lot. I am inspired by your story. I recommend this book to anyone interested in politics, public service, and project management, most especially we young Nigerians on whose shoulders the future of the country rests. My name is Dr. Tokunbo. I'm a medical doctor. I work for a healthcare organization here in Lagos, Nigeria. Mr. Folabi sent me a copy of the book for review. We've been friends for a while online, even though I never met him. He sent me the copy to review. I've known Empower, that the program, I've followed Empower for a while. Few of my friends also work with him, and when he sent it, I decided to read through it. And I'm someone who is interested in the development of Nigeria, interested in politics, I'm interested in governance, youth empowerment, skill acquisition, and so on. Anything to make Nigerians live better, anything to make Nigerians to attain their desired goals and objectives. So after reading through the book, I discovered that it's almost a complete document on what a proper social intervention program should look like. The book addressed every aspect of Mr. Folabi's journey, from his background and to what he met in office, and how they were able to structure or to put together Empower despite having little resources, despite having limited time, the challenges they faced, how they were able to work around them, how the tenacity of himself and his team members to ensure that they delivered on the objectives of the president and what Empower was designed to achieve. So that was why, after reading through it, I decided to put my thoughts together in that thread. I chose to read the book because I wanted to learn from his experience. It's something that is worth looking at, because I myself, if I find myself in that kind of situation much later I don't even need to find myself in that kind of situation. Wherever I am, I can always learn from his experience. And since he's decided to put them together, it's a great opportunity for everyone to learn from it. In my immediate environment, in my place of work, there's nothing that there's no way I find myself that I cannot put that experience to use. So when he sent it to me, it was on a Saturday morning, and I just woke up, I saw his message, and I was like, okay, I'll spend the entire day reading through the book. Never an Afterthought, written by Mr. Afolabi Mukede. I can say that the book is one of the best books that I've ever read concerning government policies and implementation in Nigeria, written by a public servant. Like I said in the thread, most Nigerian public servants don't put their experience together. So this is a very good opportunity for every one of us to learn from Mr. Afolabi's experience, and then also to learn from what happens in government. You know, we are outside, we are not with them, but we always think that governance is what you can just snap your finger and everywhere will change or things will happen. But I was able to read through his experience, and I know that to get things done in Nigeria, you need some energy, you need to be persistent, you need to be tenacious, you need some qualities as well. You need a very good team. You also need your bosses to believe in you and to share the same vision with you. So it's not magic, and it doesn't happen overnight. Success does not happen overnight. Yes, I can say, because in my journey as well, I've had to lead something. I've had to carry out some projects as well. And so while reading through his days in secondary school, his days at the university, reminded me also while I was in the university as well. He left Nigeria because of ASU strike and all, because he wasn't able to write his exams then. And then also what he had to do as a student. I also had to do some of those things. I ran a business as a student, as a medical student. While I was also in school, I had some few businesses that I had to get involved in just to keep my body and soul together. So it reminded me of my days in medical school as well, because we share the same background as regards that. Yes, it will serve its purpose, because Nigerians need to learn from him. Nigerians need to learn that to be successful, we have to have the right mindset. We need the right people in the right places. We need some qualities as individuals. We can't just wake up in the morning and then embark on certain projects, especially regards governance and government policies. We have to learn, we have to read, we have to follow examples by those who have done it in the past and those who succeeded along the same line. So there are lots of things to learn in the book. I think the book will serve its purpose. Everyone who gets a copy to read will surely learn one or two things from the book. I have so many things that I've learned from the book. The message is just a story of Mr. Afolabi himself. So anyone who is interested in project implementation, who is interested in governance or politics, should try and read the book, because the message is not just one message in there. Whole lots and lots of messages that Mr. Afolabi tried to get across to people. The message about getting on board the right team, message about working with bosses, message about implementing projects, actualizing your dreams, rising up against challenges, pushing forward despite all odds. So there are lots of messages in the book that we can learn from. I can't really remember. I think chapter 11 should be it. I can't remember the title. Probably if I get the book again. I think chapter 11 was why Empower succeeded or something. I can't remember. This is the book. This is Never an Afterthought by Mr. Afolabi Imukede. I would recommend it for everyone who is interested in governance, politics, and project implementation. Everyone who desires to be in public service in future. So I'm going to recommend the book for anyone who falls within these categories. The reason is because they have a lot to learn in the book. Mr. Afolabi's story is unique, like I said earlier. He's documented it clearly and very, very well. He's let us know what he had to do to succeed, despite the fact that his party was in power. He still had to rise against so many challenges, dealing with young Nigerians as well, 350,000 Nigerians. I don't think there's any corporate organization or any public service that's had to face that number of Nigerians. The highest employer of labor in Nigeria is still the federal government. I don't think the civil service at one point in time had to employ 350,000 Nigerians at a go, which he did. Even corporate organizations, banks and all don't take on such massive projects. So I'll recommend it to everyone who in future would like to work either in public service or be in politics, aspire for political positions, and also implement projects. So it's a very, very fantastic book. I'll read it. Actually, this is my second time. I read it first on that Saturday. I read it second time. I'll probably go by the third time again, just to be sure that I have imbibed every message it's trying to pass in the book. Yeah, so my final thoughts are not too much, something that I've said over and over again, that Nigerians need to start reading. We need to start learning from the past experiences, whether good or bad. There's always something to learn from. We also need to document these experiences that I talked about. We should learn to also write, because if we don't write, if we don't put anything down, the coming generations will not have anything to learn from. You can imagine if Mr. Afolabi did not write this book, probably 10 or 20 years time, everyone will hear about Empower and not know who did what and what was done to make Empower successful. So as young leaders also, we should also learn to document our, keep a diary of whatever you do in office, whatever you do even in your private organization and all, because there's someone somewhere who can learn from you. So this is the book Never an Afterthought by Mr. Afolabi. It's his memoir. It's done well to document his journey at Empower and the success story. So I would like to recommend the book to everyone, every young Nigerian out there, to at least get a copy and learn from Mr. Afolabi's experience.